Powerhouses like Alex Hormozi, Dan Coe, Tim Ferriss, Stephen Bartlett, industry moguls Elon Musk, Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, Jeff Bezos, sports greats Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Serena Williams, Tom Brady, LeBron James. What do they all have in common? Each has unlocked a colossal 5x boost in output, effectiveness, success and peak enjoyment in their life. They have remodeled their outlook, their intentions, their daily frameworks to blast past all reasonable expectation and become the legends, or soon to become legends, that they are. So what gives them their edge? Answering that question for the benefit of myself, clients, colleagues and family has taken me on a very long journey into researching nutritional wellness, mental health, psychology and neuroscience. What if there was a simple formula for life happiness and work satisfaction that was based on a fundamental principle that you may never have heard of before? I'm wondering, have you had a similar experience to me? Through the frustrations of being a creator, software engineer and entrepreneur, I felt I was never living up to my full potential. It became apparent I had been missing something. Something I was using already, but in a very hit and miss way. Just scratching the potential of what was possible. I had experienced glimpses in creating music, creating code, video editing, playing basketball, researching psychology. I had on occasion tapped into something. But before I could go deep, before I could get the job done, before I was happy with my progress, like that, it went. Clarity gone, motivation gone, productivity gone, happiness gone. And now I'm frustrated. And I feel in a worse place than when I began. And you might have had a similar experience. So if you're ready, we'll start the clock. My goal is by the end of this, we will have the blueprint and a simple 6-step practical way to become your own secret superweapon to successfully achieve your goals, happiness and satisfaction in less time than you ever thought possible. But first, we need to ask the question, what gave the edge to that young basketball player, Michael Jordan, during the 1992 NBA final, where he exhibits a mastery of angular launches as he effortlessly scores steep three-pointers over outstretched defenders and silky mid-range jumpers within a pulsating Chicago stadium, bearing in mind the average points per player per game is 8. Jordan racks up 39 points, including 6 first-half three-pointers, an unforgettable performance that would contribute to his legacy as the first player to win 6 NBA Finals Most Valuable Player award, cementing his place in basketball history. And what gave the edge to a lesser known, sometimes controversial, always an interesting figure, Elon Musk? In 2008, against the odds, teaching himself rocket science of all things in record time, to the point where he now gazes on the Omelek Island launch pad, the Falcon 1 poised to pierce the sky. Musk's intense and singular vision had been fused into each welded joint and calculated trajectory. Falcon 1 became the first privately developed fully liquid-fueled launch vehicle to go into orbit around the Earth. The secret sauce behind these experiences and accomplishments is what Jordan called being in the zone, or more commonly known as flow, being in flow state. And what gives these luminaries like Musk, Jordan, Bezos, Bartlett and Hormozi their edge? Applied flow state theory. Applying flow state theory, recognizing that this is a cornerstone to their success. Flow could be the most overlooked competitive weapon in the creator economy, and indeed any economy, and a must-have for those determined to excel and succeed in competition, in creating, in business, in life, in relationships, in well-being and health. So what is flow state? How did it gain such popularity? And crucially, how can it amplify your hustle? Optimize your time, jack up your joy, put more cash in your bank and add more free time to your life, and amplify what it means to actually live. being in flow. Imagine being in a groove where everything clicks. It's you at your unstoppable best. It's full immersion, it's full speed, it's pure bliss, it's happiness, it's satisfaction. You're in the zone, completely absorbed in your project, the world fading away to a distant murmur. Time becomes meaningless. The task becomes your mind's singular point of focus, where you may be so focused you don't feel hunger, not even stopping to eat. Then seemingly, out of nowhere, something impressive materialises before your eyes. It's so far beyond what you'd typically expect from yourself that it barely feels like your own creation. You stare in disbelief, asking, did I just do that? That's the power of flow. Not just a neat idea, but a state where you're at your peak, delivering work that astonishes even yourself. That moment when you doubt if the masterpiece before you is even your handiwork, that's when you know you've hit the sweet spot of creative excellence. So at this point, I'd be a touch skeptical myself. So there's this thing called applied flow state theory, flow, and it could be an almost magical ingredient that can radically change your life in all areas, not just moments of work, but a sustained well-being, a repeatable, reattainable state that I can live in, that you can live in, to achieve seemingly magical, impossible things. Does sound a bit far-fetched. Well, when you put it like that, yeah, it does sound far-fetched. But nonetheless, the claims are spot on. But there's really nothing magical about it. This is 100% science, neurology, psychology, biology, reality. So my thoughts on flow used to be, even if it is a thing, it's no big deal. I've managed just fine grinding through my days. I hustle. But the reality is, I was stalling. I had hit a wall, and until I learned it, applied it, and controlled it, I was handicapping my progress and my happiness. The reality is that it's a game changer with fewer hours, deeper focus, and a one-way ticket to peak life satisfaction. I came to realise that flow was the difference between my surviving and my thriving. So I couldn't give up. I had to get to the bottom of it. Flow state theory's rise to stardom isn't just anecdotal, it's rooted in neuroscience and the pioneering work of psychologists like Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. He put the science of optimal experience on the map with his seminal books, delving into how flow triggers a blissful state of intense focus and peak productivity. The fascination grew as neuroscientists linked flow to the brain's release of performance-enhancing neurochemicals like dopamine, often called the reward chemical. Dopamine not only provides feelings of enjoyment and reinforcement, but also helps with focus, motivation, and memory. What was I saying? Endorphins, known as the body's natural painkiller. Endorphins are released during stress or discomfort and can elevate mood, creating a euphoric state often referred to as a runner's high. Norepinephrine. This chemical increases arousal and alertness, promotes vigilance, enhances formation and retrieval of memory, and focuses attention. It also speeds up reaction times and promotes the feeling of being energized, giving you what's commonly known as get up and go. Anandamide, known as the bliss molecule. Anandamide plays a role in pain regulation and the induction of a sense of well-being. It also increases creativity and has been linked to lateral thinking. Serotonin's mood balancing effects are well documented. During flow states, its presence can create a sense of well-being and contentment, which helps individuals stay deeply engaged in their tasks. As flow's inner workings became more understood, understanding how it lights up the brain's reward centers and heightens creativity with all these chemicals, it gave the concept credibility, and as a result, it catapulted from academic circles to the front lines of personal and professional development, turning flow into an almost household name among those chasing greatness without the grind. And with the onset of flow would arise frameworks of tapping into flow and expanding its potential exponentially. So what could flow state theory mean for us? Well, there's 7 things it could mean for us. Achieving clarity, being able to all of a sudden take a mental ladder and get up high above the tasks or problems and see the top-down view and quickly and intuitively formulate a plan. Just plain and simple joy. When your mind is engaged in the here and now, working at peak performance, and the answers and innovation you need seem to be streaming out of everything you look at, everything you touch. It sounds like a fantasy, but the pleasure is tangible, as we will explore in a minute. Productivity without burnout. But it's not just fun, pleasure and joy, it's effective. We're talking about 500% higher productivity than your average day, more innovation, more output, more quality. If you could do 500% more in a day, what would that really mean for you? Ultimately, it would mean higher earnings, higher enjoyment, more work done on the things that your clarity has told you need doing. That equals more efficiency, that equals more money, and on it goes. And by carefully structuring how you mentally frame tasks and projects or even problems, you can avoid burnout. And with that kind of efficiency, you're extracting more freedom. Time becomes yours again. You can call the shots on your day, not your to-do list. You can identify the times you work best, the times you need rest, the times you need to play. You can find freedom in any activity, becoming what is known as autotelic. What's so special about being autotelic? What even is being autotelic? Well, an autotelic activity is one that's driven by internal motivation. The term combines auto, meaning self, and telos, for end or purpose in Greek. So the autotelic person finds fulfillment in the action itself without needing an external reward or outcome to justify the effort. And believe it or not, this is a massive benefit for us. And you can absolutely become an autotelic person, which is crucial to being a person free to enjoy whatever they are doing at that particular moment in life. Whether you're putting clean washing away in your drawers or creating a global marketing campaign, you can reformulate the task so you take pride, take joy, and smash that moment in your life so that it genuinely makes your soul smile. So what is real freedom? Is it financial, physical, mental, emotional, creative, competitive? Well, it's all of that. Imagine being in a position where you could attain financial freedom because your productivity was off the chart, and then you could sit back in the mental palace you've built by your freedom of mind and plan and execute your next artistic or business-based big move that will eviscerate the competition, and then more importantly follow through and do it. Not because you hate the competition, but because you love what you do, because you are autotelic. Mental health. This is a biggie. Flow chases away the mental fog of anxiety and depression, not only from the onslaught of neurochemicals, but because part of managing and controlling flow means you need to be effective at mindfulness, breathing, being present. These are the enemies of anxiety and depression, and these two afflictions can rob us of our happiness. We're not talking fleeting moments of happiness. We're talking solid, consistent satisfaction. A flow sets the stage for the higher states of happiness that we all want as a fixture in our lives, but not when we're just working. It's the jumping off point for us raising our physical vibrational output. Tuning our mind and body for health and happiness when you embrace the supplemental concepts of neuro-linguistic programming, letting go, stoic philosophy, clearing the path for the most intense experiences of flow, you can be certain that what you are doing right now is exactly what you should be doing right now. The art of being content with what is, but also living life with grandiose intentions where anything is possible because you have let go of the fear of not achieving it, and you can have self-programmed, implicit trust in yourself and your authenticity, a state where your subconscious and your conscious mind are working in harmony. And it isn't just about ourselves. Your happiness will be infectious because we may feel alone at times, but we always have relationships in our lives. Family, friends, colleagues, partners, and this leads us to the most important upside, being of service. With flow, you're not just improving your own life, but you're also lifting up everyone else around you. In short, you can start showing up for the people that you choose to show up for and that have shown up for you. And you can start structuring your interactions with these important people, inducing flow states, creating what's called group flow. Not blocking them as we quite often do unconsciously, but helping others attain the benefits of flow state as well. Attaining deeper modes and levels of communication that don't just brush the surface, but are long-lasting and meaningful to all involved. When we're in flow, we aren't distracted, we are maximally present. And once you've seen the results of your interactions with those you care about, you'll realise that it's not just the people close to you that can benefit. Everyone you come in contact with can come away with their life improved, and your mark upon the world will be something very, very special. Flow doesn't live in a vacuum. It needs a basis to work, and that basis is your body and mind within it. So the body has to be working and getting what it needs from the physical world in terms of food, nutrients, vitamins, even stress and struggle, companionship, photonic light, infrared light, ideas, so the mind and the body in tandem can be fueled to cure the body, which in turn means the mind has something to work with and in turn opens up the doors to live in flow state and beyond. Interestingly, it's our gut that has a lot of those neurochemicals, and if our body is tuned and our mind is tuned, we can have strategies to release those neurochemicals and become superhuman like the Musks and the Jordans of this world. That's the real beauty of flow. It's not just a personal win, it's a win for the whole world and your whole world and your whole self. But where do we start? What can be our entry point into this system of productivity, satisfaction and happiness? Well, it's really quite simple. Oh, an acronym, I hear you say. Yes, an acronym. Simple. SIMPLE. Let's look at this through the lens of how I've used this to supercharge my days and get important work done so that it sustains me and my happiness, focus and motivation with flow. When I was much younger, I noticed something. When I was trying to put the big picture together of a writing, coding or music project, I would start thinking about it in the shower. And by the end of that shower, I would get out with a full plan, and this became my go-to. So S is for shower. Now, showers aren't only for getting clean, which has its benefits. If I have a big task or I'm finding it hard to pin down what I need to work on to make the biggest movement of the needle for my own business, my head starts becoming all abuzz with things that I should do. But it's in no particular order. And to be honest, it's now something that's overwhelming me. So it's now time to take a shower. This is where we engage the default mode network associated with mind wandering, daydreaming, and self-referential thought. It's perfect for this step in our day. So after I actually get the washing part out of the way, I now breathe and let myself attune to the pitter-patter of the water falling down. And I start visualizing the jobs and tasks and how they fit together in the bigger picture. My goal is to identify the easiest job, to start with that, so it gives me the most benefit with the least amount of work so I can get my day moving. So I run the scenarios of doing one task over another and what course my day should take, then filter through which item will be a quick big win that will give me some real momentum. I don't force it, I let the scenarios play out and piece together. Usually, some great things come to me that I had never considered before, that I make a note for the task later in the day. This process in itself may induce a flow state. Imagine that, inducing flow state whilst figuring out how you're going to induce flow state during the rest of your day. So what's happening here is the brain is switching over to the default mode network, and the shower's rhythmic downpour tunes your brain's frequency to those elusive alpha waves and maybe even theta waves. This allows you to start getting clarity on your day. Then as you start mentally sifting through the day with the goal of finding a task to start off with, whilst defining the other important tasks as you go, by the time you settle on that starting task that's easy and that will give you momentum, you started a neurological chemical process that has started releasing multiple chemicals such as dopamine, which is associated with feelings of pleasure and reward, and norepinephrine, which heightens attention, enhancing your focus and making it easier to sustain and engage with the tasks that are at hand. And as an added bonus, you know what to do next in your day because you've just figured it out whilst getting clean and setting up your day for massive success. So what's next? I is for inhale. And when you inhale, you generally need to exhale. We call this breathing, which sounds simple, and it is. I will inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 2, and then exhale for around 8 seconds. This is a grounding exercise to come back from the planning world we were just in and place yourself firmly in the present. You repeat this for a few minutes, 2 to 5 minutes. As you exhale, you let your shoulders and elbows drop. Try to release any tension in the body. After you're feeling at ease with the rhythm of the breathing, then it's time to do a quick body scan. To do this, you continue breathing. On the exhale, you mentally focus on your physical body and the sensations you're feeling. You start at the top of your head, just giving a mental nod to the sensations and feelings that are present in your body, working down through your chest, your back, your legs. As you breathe out, just let your attention fixate on those sensations. The important thing here is to view this as just giving those sensations a mental nod that they are there, just acknowledging them. And you breathe into the sensations until you are at ease with them. This will put us firmly in the here and now, allowing us to be at ease with whatever we are physically feeling and allowing us to move on to the upcoming tasks unhindered by tensions and stress in our body that can block our flow state. You started another neurochemical process here that has started releasing multiple chemicals such as serotonin, which can contribute to the feelings of well-being and happiness, whilst also calming the mind. Endorphins may also be released, which help alleviate pain and stress, promoting a sense of comfort and relaxation. This practice of mindful awareness and controlled breathing can activate the parasympathetic nervous system, initiating a state of rest and digest, which counteracts the stress response and allows you to approach tasks with a clearer, more focused mindset. By acknowledging and breathing through the physical sensations, you ground yourself in the present moment, equipping yourself to handle the day's demands with a steadier, more composed disposition. So now we know what we're doing. It's time to set that task up that we identified as being the easiest. So M is for momentum. We want to kick off our work with an easy win that will give an early dopamine reward and really cement our flow state. Once we're going, we can then switch on to the harder, more in-depth tasks. But this strategic choice will be part of the launch pad for the day. Psychologically and neurologically, this tactic of starting with a manageable task builds task momentum, akin to a snowball effect in productivity. The successful completion of an initial, less challenging task sets off a positive emotional and motivational response. It can significantly boost your confidence and reduce any resistance or procrastination that might emerge when facing the prospect of more daunting tasks. Psychologically, the act of ticking off a task on your to-do list, no matter how minor, generates a sense of progress and competence, which can elevate your mood and reinforce your self-efficacy. This early dopamine reward serves as a neural pat on the back, encouraging your brain to continue seeking that sense of accomplishment. Neurologically, the early success promotes the release of dopamine, not only enhancing pleasure and motivation, but also sharpening your focus and improving cognitive function as you prepare for more complex challenges. This intentional structuring of tasks' difficulty allows your brain and your body to warm up to the demands of your workload, making the transition to intensive tasks smoother and more sustainable. By leveraging the psychological and neurological impacts of momentum, you prime yourself both mentally and physically for peak performance throughout your day, paving the way for enhanced productivity and overall success. And part of that is what's next. P is for the Pomodoro technique. The Pomodoro technique utilizes timed intervals, typically set at 25 minutes, though this is something you can play with. I personally set it for 30 minutes for a focused work session. It was devised by Francesco Cirillo. The technique gets its name from the tomato-shaped kitchen timer, and Cirillo used it to structure his work and achieve that thing we're all looking to get, flow. This is followed by a 5-minute interval for rest and reflection. By having a clear time goal you're working to, it focuses the mind, releases more norepinephrine, and when you hit your goal and have worked for a solid set of minutes, you will get a dopamine reward, and these rewards promote and sustain your flow state. Neurologically, this framework sets up a cascade of cognitive and biological responses that underpin focused attention and reward processing. The ticking or presence of the timer creates a sense of urgency, while the imminent deadline of typically 25 minutes instills a level of healthy pressure that can enhance performance and the efficiency of your cognitive processing. By harnessing the principles of the Pomodoro technique, your brain adapts to these timed intervals, establishing a rhythm that can lead to increased concentration and productivity. As you acclimate to this method, the end of the Pomodoro can become a signal for your brain to release more dopamine, reinforcing your sense of achievement and motivating you to continue with the task at hand. Neurologically, the technique fosters a pattern where work and rest are balanced, thus preventing burnout and cognitive fatigue. The short breaks serve not only as a period for recovery, but also as an opportunity for the brain to assimilate information and make connections, which can enhance creative thinking and problem-solving skills. With repeated practice, this cycle of focused work and strategic rest can become a powerful tool for attaining peak mental performance. But what if we get interrupted? Well, L is for limiting distractions. I will turn off my phone, shut down unneeded programs and browser tabs. We want to limit anything that could knock us out of flow so we can get firmly into our task and start getting wins and start getting real movement on the things that will equate to our success. It's also a good idea to let your colleagues or any people that will want to communicate with you know ahead of time that you're doing a deep, focused task, and we'll get back to them once it's complete, without being rude and ignoring them. There is one exception to this. Some research suggests music may induce states of flow. So choosing some calming music with no words preferably, this can help attune your brainwaves into alpha. In fact, the moment I say, Alexa, play classical piano, it does act as a trigger that anchors me straight into flow. Alexa, stop. By limiting distractions, you've started several processes here. both mental and environmental, that will facilitate your journey into a state of high productivity. By silencing your phone and closing surplus applications and tabs, you've reduced the risk of digital interruptions, derailing your concentration. Additionally, by proactively communicating your need for focused time to those around you, you preemptively manage potential human distractions, allowing you to maintain your work momentum. This preparation enables you to engage with your work without the constant pull of potential disruptions. It also signals to your brain that it's time to zone in, creating a mental barrier against distractions and setting the stage for a productive work session. With these distractions at bay, you're more likely to enjoy a sustained period of flow, intense focus and increased productivity, moving you closer to achieving your goals and your ultimate success. As we start marking off these vital tasks for our success, we have an opportunity to give ourselves one more flow state edge. E is for evaluate. To really get the full extent of the built-in neurological reward system, we should use the downtime at the end of the Pomodoro interval or on completion of any task, and we should run through and acknowledge to ourselves the good, deep work we've just done and allow for another dopamine pat on the back. Then we should tee up the next task and acknowledge to ourselves that our strategic work pattern and flow state hacking is working for us. Inhale, exhale a few times, get grounded, then take the next task, knowing we can conquer it methodically, enjoyably, and reliably. Neurologically and psychologically, this reflective practice is instrumental in reinforcing the link between task and completion. And intrinsic rewards, the rewards we give ourselves internally, by mindfully evaluating the progress and acknowledging the effort you've invested, you enable a deliberate release of dopamine, reinforcing the positive experience associated with this new productivity. Neurologically, this self-recognition activates reward pathways in your brain, making the act of completing tasks more gratifying and enhancing your motivation for future work. This creates a positive feedback loop where the act of evaluating and acknowledging your achievements encourages your brain to seek out similar successful outcomes. Psychologically, taking the time to reflect on your completed tasks not only boosts self-esteem but also solidifies your sense of accomplishment. It enhances your awareness of personal efficacy and the effectiveness of the strategies you've just employed, such as the Pomodoro technique and task sequencing for optimal flow. Moreover, the simple exercise of deep breathing between tasks grounds you in the present moment, reducing stress levels and preparing your cognitive faculties to engage with the next task proactively. By integrating this evaluation preparation step into your workflow, you cultivate a sustainable pattern of productivity that is both enjoyable and reliable, underpinned by a deeper neurological and psychological understanding of your work habits. Evaluation acts as a crucial component in the symbiotic relationship between cognitive function and task-orientated behavior, fostering a workspace environment where success begets further success. So that's the simple technique. Shower and plan. Inhale, exhale. Momentum. Pomodoro. Limit distractions. Evaluate. These are 6 very quick techniques that only brush the surface of what is capable with applied flow state theory. And they are something that you can take away right now and do, and then see that by picking one, or preferably all of them in order, and applying it in your everyday tasks, it can reap real results. Please at least pick one of these and give it a go as soon as you can. Please let me know how you get on with this in the comments. There are deep mindsets, philosophy, neuroscience, and ways of applying many more aspects of flow state theory in business and in your personal life. So my hope is that, like me, you can come to appreciate the importance of mastering your flow, and we can take a deep practical look into how we can make the most of applied flow state theory as we live, communicate, and most importantly, create. Because I truly believe that when people are empowered to create, they create a better world. And if you just saw the counter hit 0, your brain hopefully saw that we were working to a target. So thank you for coming along with me to hit our shared target. So in review and evaluation, we've learned about flow state and seen that it's something to be paid attention to. We've grasped that there are very simple techniques you can use to kickstart your journey into flow. You've hopefully been tantalized to continue your journey into gifting yourself the edge that flow state can give you. There's a high probability you achieved a level of flow state while you engaged in this video. So well done. Have a dopamine hit. And if you didn't, well, you can give it another go in a minute. The thing here is that you are now aware, because awareness is curative. And now you are hopefully aware of flow, aware of what it can cure. Unstrategic, unproductive, unenjoyable work and life. A cure for a lack of satisfaction and happiness. And like it or not, you are aware that you have that power within you to tap into this profound state. So we've got a taste of what is available. And if you've watched this far, I hope you've subscribed and liked. But if you haven't, that's fair enough. But if we have provided some value, please. But how do we tackle the grand orchestra of obstacles that seem to stand in our way of getting into work, getting into flow, getting that insurmountable project done? What can stand in the way of our moment-to-moment happiness? If you have a bad habit that you desperately want to stop, click on this next video to find out how to give smoking, vaping, drinking, drug taking the heave-ho forever in just 1 week. Or if you want to lean hard into what you can do when you have flow state fighting for you, click this one where you can figure out if you have an overweight mind, how to improve your mental physique if you do, and if you are tip-top, 3 ways to push you into genius territory. Thanks for watching. Take care.